happened?
I don't know, some internet connections. Anyway, now we joined.
No, why I can't see full faces. I'm not sure that my problem.
Rab, you have to lift yours up a little bit.
You've got to accept the recording. Be full faces.
I can see only half faces. But then,
There must be a block to tick off yes. Just tick off yes at the top.
I don't know how to do it.
We can see you, Rab.
Okay,
Yeah,
if you can see
you, we can see you.
The main thing that if you can hear me, you
And
can hear you also.
see.
Then nothing what to see. The main thing is to hear.
Yeah.
I'll say. So welcome everybody. We will continue with our subject that we have started 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago already. We are talking about the birth of Moshe Rabbeinu. What the situation is, and how the decree of Paro to throw all the babies, and how this was not, how was Moshe Rabbeinu saved. So we are in page 12B, 12B3. The beginning of 12B3, the beginning of the column. That now Moshe Rabbeinu, the baby, is in a little box in the Nile, and the daughter of Pharaoh came with her maids to have a swim, and then she saw this box, and she took it and opened it, and she said, and now in the middle of the page, which is in the beginning of B3, the English, the first column in the top. She said, "Vatomer miyadei ha'ivrim ze." She identified, we don't know yet, and we'll see in a minute how. She identified that this is a child, one of from the Jews. And the question is in the first line, 12B3, Menayada. How could she identify as one of the Hebrew that is Jewish? Amar Rabbi Yosef bar Chanina. Have you got the place, everybody, guys? Yes?
Yes, we've got the place.
Yes. Okay. Amar Rabbi Yosef bar Chanina. How did she identify that she's Jewish? Rata oto mahul. Because she saw him was circumcised. Because although that we are talking before the Torah was given, but the Brit Milah was already done from the time of Abraham, that he circumcised himself and his sons, and so the circumcision, Brit Milah, was already done from the time of Avraham Avinu. So all the children were circumcised, the Jewish children, and the Gemorra says that the reason that she could identify is one of the Jews, because she saw him circumcised. Then the Gemorra continues to speak about the statement that the daughter of Paro, the Amar Rabbi Yochanan, because which he said, "Meyaldei ha'ivrim hu zeh." This baby is one of the children, and the Gemorra works on the word zeh, that there is something unique. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, zeh, this one. The word this one teaches us that prophesies unconsciously, זה נופל ואין אחר נופל. That means this baby, he was one that was fell into the river, and not other one, no other children will fall after him. No other baby will again have to fall the river. Why? What does it mean? She implied, without thinking, the decree that male infants must be thrown into the river would be abolished that day. And that is precisely what happened, because the astrologers no longer foresaw a threat. Remember that all these things came as a result of the astrologers, and they said that today the child, there is a child that he would be a challenger to the Egyptian kingdom. And as a result of that, obviously all of them believed in the astrology. So they threw all the babies, all the Jewish babies that they could find. And in fact, even according to opinion, even non-Jews, all babies of that time. But at that day, when Moshe Rabbeinu was found, and the daughter of Paro said, "This is a Jew, one of the Jews." He says this, and the Gemorra learned, I know the Rabbi Lezer, that he said, he speaks about astrologers, my dichtiv, what written, the meaning, which is written, V'chi yomru aleichem, if people say to you, Dirshu el ha'avot ve'el ha'edonim, inquire these astrologers that are looking, מצפצפים, all these who are claim they've got knowledge what's happening above, they צופים אינם יודעים מה צופים, they've got a vision which they don't really understand exactly what it is. They vocalize but don't know what they vocalize. In other words, they have a vague idea of what they are divining, but not a well-defined picture. And the Gemorra continues to say, what did they see in their astrology? ראו שמשיען של ישראל במים הוא לוקה. So interesting, what the Gemorra says, they had a perception that why they they threw the child to the water because the astrologers saw that the savior of the Jewish people would be stricken by water. And therefore, consequently, Amdu v'gazru, the Egyptians proceeded to decree Kol ben ha'ilot de'ira tishlichu. Every son that we born into the river should be Yisro'im. So the whole thing started by having some blurred idea, and therefore they thought to save themselves by throwing Moshe Rabbeinu to the river. But what happened came in the Shiur of Moshe. Once Moshe was cast into the river in this basket, Amru, the astrologers say, Tula Chazinan. We no longer see something like that sign, which they saw before, that he will be stricken by water, assuming that potential savior must have already drowned. Because they had got like this sign, astrology, that they saw there is a sign that the savior of the Jews was born, and after he was thrown to the river, it disappeared, their sign, and consequently, the Egyptians abolished their decrees. So they abolished it, not anymore, you don't have to throw babies anymore to the river. But והם אינם יודעים, they didn't realize. It's interesting that we know that astrology is completely nothing. We see from the Gemorra here, there is something that astrology has some idea but they're not clear because yes, Moshe Rabbeinu was struck by water, which was it, the sign indicated that Moshe would be stricken, actually referred to the fact that he would be stricken in connection with the water of strife, Mei Meriva, because this was later in the desert that when was a big problem that the people were many years later that they were complaining they want water to drink, and Hashem said to him to speak to the river, and he didn't. He struck the river. For this he was punished because Hashem said to him to speak. And I think it brings here the whole story. What is the meaning of which it's written, Ema Mem Rivat Sherabu? There the water of strife, where the children of Israel contended with Hashem. Why does the Torah say they are the water of strife, implying that the water of strife have been spoken of earlier in the Torah, and we are identifying the water currently under discussion as those same water? It doesn't seem that these waters were mentioned anywhere before. Rather, the Torah means Eima Sherahu Tzignei Paro B'Tahu. When later, with the story with the water of Mei Meriva, of the water of strife, the Torah says, these are the waters. The Gemorra says, what do you mean? These were the water. What is it referring to? Where was any reference to this water? Gemorra want to say, Eima Sherahu Tzignei Paro B'Tahu. These are the water the Pharaoh's astrology saw and heard. So in other words, they saw something that Moshe Rabbeinu will be doing something wrong with the water, and they thought that this is the water when they swim to the river, and they were mistaken. Those are the waters by which Moshe would be stricken, not the waters of the Nile. Then the Gemorra says, continues, "V'anu dekamar Moshe," and that's what Moshe said above. What happened in that day, as we read now, that after they threw him in the water and they didn't see the sign anymore that there is a threat, then the astrology said you don't have to throw any more children into the Nile. So later on, Moshe Rabbeinu said in one of his statement to the Israelis, he said, Moshe said himself many years later, 600,000 ragli, 600,000 men on my account, etc., are the people in whose midst I am. What does it refer to? Amar lahem. The Gemorra puts into this statement that Moshe Rabbeinu said to the people, the 600,000 of people, he said, because of me, that you were all saved. Meaning, from being cast into the Nile, my descent into the river ended this decree. In other words, Moshe Rabbeinu meant here to say, all of you were saved, because if the decree will not be cancelled, then obviously all the babies could be continue to be thrown into the river. But because he now came out by the daughter of Pharaoh, and the result of it, the decree of throwing babies stopped. So like Moshe Rabbeinu says, this is how the decree to throw the infants into the Nile is, although the decree of originally to throw the babies to the Nile was because of Moshe, because the astrology saw that there is a child which is going to be a savior, and therefore they said that all the children should be all those that had childbirth to throw them into the river. Now, and as a result of it, even Egyptian boys were thrown, all of them, because they wanted to eliminate the savior, which is Moshe Rabbeinu. The reason they abolished all the decrees when they thought that the savior had drowned was because there was no fear of Jewish uprising if the savior would not be there. So therefore, like Moshe Rabbeinu said, yes, originally the decree was because of me to be thrown to throw the children, but because of me, all of you were saved. After I was out, then the decree stopped. Now the Gemorra continues. Earlier, the Gemorra expanded the word "ze," this one, in the statement of Pharaoh's daughter, when she said, one of the Jewish or Hebrew Jews boys, this one. Now the Gemorra expands the word this one. What does it mean? Differently. Rab Chaim bar Papa Amar Oto Hayom. Interesting how the Gemorra connects. Oto Hayom, according to Rab Chaim, he said it was the 21st day of Nisan. That Moshe was placed in the Nile, was in the danger of drowning, was the 21st of Nisan, the same date on which the splitting of the Red Sea would take place 8 years later. the connection is, again, there is some connection historically. On that day that he was saved, this was later, 8 years later, the day that the people came out with from Egypt and Kriyat Yamsuf, the Nile was split. And the Gemorra here tries to tell us a discussion that was in heaven when the angels, אמרו מלאכי השרת, לפני הקדוש ברוך הוא, the angels were arguing with God, saying, ריבונו של עולם, Master of the universe, מי שעתיד לומר שירה לים ביום זה, ילקה ביום זה, he who was destined to utter song by the sea on the day, ביום זה, in that day, this was the day after the splitting of the Red Sea, and as Yashir Moshe, when he sang the song of after Kriyat Yamsuf, so say that day that the Malachim, the angels said, is it possible that he should be stricken on that day, that because he actually has got a duty to be able to sing the song in Kriyat Yamsuf. So this is one interpretation to try to identify the day with the day later. Rab Chanina, he said differently. He was said that this day was, the Moshe Rabbeinu was saved, was Shisha B'Sivan, the 6th day of Sivan. And Malachi HaSharet, the angels, were arguing or saying to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Ribono Shel Olam, they mentioned a different idea. Mí שעתיד לקבל תורה מהר סיני, he who was destined to receive the Torah at Mount Sinai on this day, should be stricken on that day. So now the question is, we've got two opinions, which was a day that Moshe Rabbeinu was saved by the daughter of Paro when he was taken out of the Nile. Gemorra now continues to work out the two possible dates. Was it 6th of Sivan or 23rd of Nisan? And look at the Gemorra works it out. Bishlema, it is okay if the man Amar B'Shisha B'Sivan, according to one who says Moshe was placed in the river on the 6th of the Sivan, then we have 3 months, because it says that he was he was placed in the river 3 months after he was born. So it works out that Moshe Rabbeinu was, as we see in a minute, he was born on the 7th of Adar, because we learned that Moshe Rabbeinu was born the 7th of Adar, and later, when he died, was the same day of the month, 7th of Adar. So we can work it out that he was 3 months old when they found, when he was taken out. Why? Because if you work out from the 7th of Adar until the 6th of Sivan, then they are exactly 3 months. So we understand that this day fits. But if you say that it was the 21 day of Nisan, so how does it match when the Torah says that he was 3 months old when he was taken out from the water? Is it possible the 3 months passed from the 7th of Adar when Moshe was born. He tried to work out how does it fit if we want to say that he was taken out on 23 of Nisan, so it's not 3 months from the time that he was born. Answer the Gemorra, אותה שנה מעוברת הייתה. That year was a leap year, and therefore there is an extra month. So Moshe was born in the first Adar. So the first Adar will then on the 7th Adar, which means most of the first Adar passed, and then the full months of the 2nd Adar because it's a leap year, and coming to the 23rd of Nisan is again the most of the last months of Nisan. So if you work out, you've got 3 months, the most of the first Adar, the 2nd Adar full, and the most of the 3rd Adar. So then you've got a way I worked out this was 3 months. So each of them, the one that say 6th of Sivan or 23rd of Nisan, can fit with the day that he was born. Okay, this is just a side point. Now they continue with the text. Now, Bat Paro picked up the child, and the text says, "Vatomer achoto el Bat Paro." His sister was there, Miriam, unknown to the daughter of Paro. She was there to watch. The Torah says she was. We read before. She was there to watch to see what's going to happen with this little baby, with her little brother. Exactly, she was like 5 years old, this little girl, Miriam. And she was the one that went to Bat Paro, to the daughter of Paro, telling her, "Shall I go and summon for you a wet nurse from the Hebrew woman who will nurse the boy for you?" Why all of a sudden she came to the idea? The Gemorra said, why was it necessary for Miriam to suggest to Paro's daughter that she fetch a Jewish woman to nurse? This implies that an Egyptian wet nurse would not be accepted to Paro's daughter. Now, why? מלמד שחזרו למוישה, that teach that they circulated Moshe al kol המצריות. All the Egyptian women who were nursing or nearby, they attempt to find someone to nurse him, ולא ינק, but it didn't suck. Why? אמר הקדוש ברוך הוא said, they explained why Moshe would not nurse from the Egyptian. פשע עתיד לדבר עם השכינה. The mouse which is destined to speak with the God, ינהג דבר טמא? Should he nurse the breast milk of a woman who ate a non-kosher item? Because she was not Jewish, and obviously she won't eat in kosher. So it tells us that even a baby, if you want him to be in the higher degree of holiness, of sanctity, should not be fed with non-kosher food. And therefore, Moshe Rabbeinu didn't suck, and this pasuk, את מי יורדיה, whom shall teach knowledge, and with whom shall one explain the message. And the text says, the Gemolei Chalav, those wind for milk. and those removed from the breast. The verse means, to whom did God teach the Torah? To Moshe, who's weaned himself away from non-kosher milk and separated himself from its non-kosher source. And so this is how the Torah explains it came to this baby, Moshe Rabbeinu, as a baby. Now the process actually he came back to the real mother, to Yocheved. So what we have a story. The daughter of Paro, everything was like, obviously, we understand God's plan, that Moshe Rabbeinu was born, he was like all babies thrown into the river because of the astrologists. When he was taken out, they thought the decree is over, and now Moshe Rabbeinu, who saved him? The daughter of Paro, who Paro made the decree to throw the babies to the river. Now, she obviously didn't know, but Paro, we saw that she knew now that he's a Jewish baby. The Gemorra says, because she saw him circumcised. Now, they tried to win him to suck, and no Egyptian could do it. Then Miriam suggested, maybe you want me to bring a woman, an Hebrew woman, a Jewish woman, to nurse him. And Vatomer La, come now the text, 12b5, turn the page, 12b5, the Gemorra continues, Vatomer La bat Paro lechi. But Paro said to her, go. And the girl went and summoned the boy's mother. So all this was planned. Now, Moshe becomes now again sucking from his mother Yocheved. אמר רב אליעזר, מאמן שלך בזריזות כעלמא. The Gemorra learns on the posek that she went teaches that she went with a less alacrity, like an energetic young girl. Although that we learned before, that Miriam was a sickly child, but she recovered, and now she was full energy. And Rabbi Shmuel ben Nachmani said, because the word alma, the Gemorra works on the word alma, this means strength, quick, she went with energy, or the word alma, according to Rabbi Shmuel ben Nachmani, elima et dvareha. Miriam was called alma because she concealed elima. The word alma can mean also in Hebrew, elima, she concealed her fact, which means she didn't mention that she's an infant sister and that she was summoning his mother. But Tomer La bat Paro, after Miriam asked her, do you want me to bring a woman to feed this baby? But Paro said, go. Take this day, the boy, and nurse him for me. And she said it to Yocheved, to his mother. Amar Rabbi Chama bar Chanina said, Mitnaba v'na yodat ma nitnaba. Now we've got another way. Sometimes the interesting things that can happen to all of us. Sometimes we say things which we are not aware that this actually kind of a prophecy was going to happen without us understanding and be aware that this is kind of a prophecy. That this is what you want to say, that when Paro said, Eilechi,
Father's daughter, I don't know.
Paro's daughter, yes?
Yeah.
When she said to him, Eilechi, in Hebrew means take him, but the Gemorra said, Elechi, the word means in Hebrew also can mean Shelechi, means Shelechi, which belongs to you. In other words, when Paro's daughter gave Moshe to Yocheved, the mother, unknowing that this is mother, but she, in her words, like came and she says to him, take him, it is yours. Like a kind of a prophecy that the unknown to her, unaware, that actually she's giving the baby to the real mother, to Yocheved.
Rav, we've only got over 2 minutes left.
What?
There's only 2 minutes left. We nearly have
2
to
minutes,
finish.
yeah,
2 minutes.
okay. So let's read another little passage. And when she said, Aniten escharech, Paro's daughter said, I will pay for it. I will give you the money that for doing it. And Rabbi Chama said, Lo da'an tzadikim. It is not sufficient for the righteous that they have lost should be returned to them, אלא שנותנים להם שכרם. In other words, not only Yocheved gets back a child, but she was paid for it. This is what Rabbi Chama said. Sometimes tzaddikim, not only they get what they lost, but they get the profit on what they lost. So when here, the text says that the Bat Paro, the daughter of Paro, said to Yocheved, to the mother, go feed him and I will pay you. So not only Yocheved gets her daughter, her son back, and actually she's going to be paid for doing the job as the mother. No? So this is we're still in the middle of the story. In the meantime, I'll say good Shabbos to you.
Shabbat
And
shalom.
we continue with the story Imir Hashem next week.
Thank you,
Shabbat shalom,
Rav.
Rabbi.
Thank you,
Thank you
Rabbi.
very
Well,
much.
Rav, how's your back?
Shabbat Shalom.
How's your back?
Yes, Rav, how's your back?
Well, he's gone off.
I saw the Rav a week ago in the clinic, and he was suffering from his back. So,
Okay, everyone, have a good Shabbos. I see the time's up.
Shabbat shalom,
Take care.
everyone. All the best. Bye.